Bueno, en primer lugar, agradecer a todos.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone who is in here, all people who are following us on the streaming, and so I would like to thank the organizers in INCIBE for inviting me to be here. To me, it is an honor and a pleasure, and also a great responsibility because of all the outstanding speakers that have spoken before me. And well, let us move on to my lecture right away. So the title may sound a bit arrogant. Well, the title given to it is Cybersecurity is for me. So I also would like you to take as a home message that cybersecurity is also for you. So I was introduced by Sherethe before. I have a degree in journalism. I've studied humanities and art, so it is, well, perhaps you will be strange at finding a journalist having a career in cybersecurity. As a journalist, I realized about the relevance and importance of this topic, and as well as other technical matters. So I decided to go being beyond an amateur, and also I started to practice it myself, and I also decided to put at the disposal of the cybersecurity community a number of elements. I organized some activities, and I also managed a blog, amongst others. So my presentation will be divided in 3 sections. So this inspirational talk is aimed at telling you what the steps that I've taken, how I got where I am now. Also, I would like to tell you about the need for cybersecurity to be a multidisciplinary discipline. And last, I will also refer to professional skills that are demanded in the world of cybersecurity. So there is a reason why for me to use this character. Well, some of you may not know him. He is, because you are young, and he is Paco Martinez Soria, a well-known actor in Spain. And then one of his movies was this one on the screen. Said, "City is not for me." So I wanted to play around with the title of that movie and the title of my presentation. So therefore, finding a link between Paco Martinez Soria and myself could be a bit difficult. What could be the link between his movie and, well, myself, a 21st century journalist working in the field of cybersecurity? Well, in the movie, Paco Martinez Soria is a man who lives in a village. He lost his wife, and he decided to go to the big city. And then to experience different life and to go through different walk of life. So in the end of the movie, he comes back to his village, but as he spends time in the city, well, because he's not used to big cities, many big things happen to him. And now, trying to find a parallel, I could draw a parallel between him and myself. When I entered the world of cybersecurity, I was kind of like him. I got my mobile phone, my tripod, and I went from one place to another. And at the end of the day, that's what we have. We have me, a journalist in the world of cybersecurity. And as I say, I was not very much aware. I didn't have expertise or that much knowledge about cybersecurity. Still, I decided to go into that unknown world. In the beginning, was kind of a bit lost, because that was highly technical environment. But little by little, I started to be less and less afraid of it, and I decided to find out what that world could offer to me, because we should not forget that I'm a journalist, that I'm driven by my curiosity. I attended conferences and congresses. Over time, I also ended up organizing other events, and here is a photograph showing some of the events and activities that I took part. And as I say, well, in the beginning, I organized conferences, and I was also following, doing videos in YouTube. And then there came a time that I started to go to places, meeting people face to face, continue carrying my mobile phone, my camera, my tripod with me, and continue doing my filming, my recordings. So this transition in this world, which was very unknown to me in the beginning, nowadays I'm extremely happy with it. I would not go back at all. I wouldn't do anything else. As I said in the beginning, I went through a phase of observation and adapting. I was kind of out of place. I got used to it little by little. Then I went through a learning phase, and then I went through an emotional phase. I will tell you more about each of these stages. You may feel related to some of the things that happened to me. Perhaps it's the first time that you are attending CyberCamp, and perhaps you have the same feeling that I had in the beginning, that is to say, entering an unknown scenario, an unknown landscape. I kind of jumped into that world, and there was no security net there waiting for me. And as I say, I only had basic knowledge of IT. And then I was kind of feeling that I was entering into a vacuum. As I say, I've always been a highly curious person. I always liked technology, but I was a medium level user. And then, well, I wanted to explore about hacking, hackers, and I also wanted to find out whether that world was being participated by women as well. And how did I approach that? Well, I started to bring down myths. Well, the first one was the IT. So I was just a user. I've never gone to any technical school, therefore I don't have enough expertise to have a technical career. I didn't know any programming languages, but when it comes to communicating with people working in the field of cybersecurity, I had no problem whatsoever in communicating with them, in understanding and following that language, and also to relay it on to others. So I didn't have the crucial need or the actual need to know about any programming language to communicate with cybersecurity experts. And as I said, I didn't need any technical degree or knowing any programming languages. I have not ever disassembled a computer either. So with this I mean that I just didn't need to have any IT engineering degree to talk to people in this world. At that time I had to discover and find out what was happening with hackers. So at that time it was often said that hackers were very dark figures, something hidden, they were the evil guys. Well, we should rule that out. We had to break down the myth about hackers. The more hackers I met in my life, the more I brought down this myth. Hackers are just experts who are trying to better themselves all the time. That could go beyond the IT world. We often associate hackers with technology, but anyone in the career, in the job they do, could consider themselves to be hackers. Some mechanics are actual hackers when they fine-tune cars and make them go faster than they are designed for. So therefore, hackers should be seen and considered as by what they are. They are actual experts. And here perhaps I'm throwing stones at my guild, the guild of communicators. Often we communicators continue to classify hackers and to talk about hackers as evils, as the bad guys. And then we should not go against hackers. They are not cyber criminals. Contrary to what is often said, they are not the bad guys. Just the opposite. Nowadays we have part of the security that we have in place has been contributed by hackers. And actually, the Spanish Dictionary of Spanish, up until a year ago, only had one, referred to hackers as IT pirates. So definitions go into the dictionary depending on how much they are used by society. So therefore, last year, hacker was also defined as an expert person in charge of handling computers, which are in charge of dealing with system security and also in charge of developing improvement techniques. But this is not the solution to everything. So the first definition of hackers should be eliminated from the dictionary. Because when someone checks hacker term in the dictionary, if it were to read the first definition, would be misled. Perhaps the second definition should be enlarged, but first definition should be taken out from the dictionary so that hackers are considered as the experts they are. All the people that I met in my life were cataloged or classified as hackers, and they are not hackers at all. They play different roles in different areas, in different places. And hackers are the present and the future of the cybersecurity of our country. They gather significant talent. Therefore, definition of hackers and understanding of them should change. Hackers are not bad guys. Hackers are extremely important people. And the third myth that I wanted to break down was whether there were women participating in the world of cybersecurity. When we go to cybersecurity events, we wish we would have 50% women and men, both as speakers and as attendees. But in the world of cybersecurity, there are women. There could be more women. But what can we do to have more women participating in the world of cybersecurity? We should think that technology is not a gender issue. Women or men are not more skilled to work in the field of cybersecurity. We should get rid of that idea. And in order to attract more women into the world of cybersecurity, we should normalize the job market of cybersecurity. And we should give more visibility to women who are already working in the field of cybersecurity. There are highly skilled women working in the field of cybersecurity. I didn't meet many women in the cybersecurity events I went to. There aren't very many of them, but there are some of them, and there is significant feminine talent in cybersecurity, providing significant value, and we have to foster that. We have to make sure that those women who have a vocation in cybersecurity go ahead with it. These women should not feel that this is a masculine world and there is no place for them. We should support them. We should offer them equal opportunities, and we should give visibility to women in cybersecurity. That was my observation stage. This is the way I approach cybersecurity. The learning stage starts but never ends. Well, adapting phase is over now, whereas learning stage started the day I was born, and it will accompany me all my life until the day I die. I define myself as a life learner, and I am driven by my curiosity. Therefore, how did I approach my learning stage? I was a journalist going into the world of cybersecurity. I knew that I had to have to gain an understanding little by little to find my place in it. I walked through that learning stage through contributing value to it. There is no limit in terms of learning. How did I get into this world? How I went about as I was getting more and more into cybersecurity? Well, first of all, by taking in technical terms. In the beginning, when I talked to technical people, I could not understand half of what they were saying. I continue not to understand 100% of what they tell me, but I keep learning. I do need to understand the technicalities because I am the conveyor belt that relays information on to the general public. So therefore I have to learn more and more. I have to take in that technical language little by little. I also learn from experts from different fields. I love being surrounded by experts. And the cybersecurity world is really, really broad. There is lots to learn from very many different experts. I love learning from them and learning with them. Try to surround yourselves by experts. Even if they are far away from what you do, you will always learn from them. So that has been of great value to me, listening a lot, attending conferences, following videos, following online training courses, reading a lot, watching many videos. That's the way you learn. You learn from very many different sources, from many experts, and also by attending cybersecurity events. So in the beginning I showed you photographs with many of the events that I went to. You have to go to those cybersecurity events and make the most of them, not only by listening to speakers, but by taking advantage of any opportunities you may have to talk to speakers, and not only to speakers but also to other attendees, people who are sitting next to you. Surely those people next to you have very many things to contribute. So therefore, when you go to cybersecurity events, network with people, with everyone there. And as I say, make the most of that. And if you cannot really go physically to those events, follow them on the streaming. And now in this learning stage, everything that I've learned or that I'm learning from this cybersecurity world, what is the contribution that I make? How do I add value as a journalist, as a disseminator of or communicator of cybersecurity? What contribution can I make? Well, I can make my contribution through giving a voice to cybersecurity experts that I invite to my channel, Palabra de Hacker. And as I say, when I go to events, I take my mobile phone with me, I record that event or part of the event, and then I broadcast it and I disseminate it through a video. So therefore, I give a voice to cybersecurity experts so that we communicate. We talk about cybersecurity in a plain and simple to follow language. What other thing do I contribute? I go beyond being an event assistant because I don't have any technical expertise or education. At the end of the day, I decided to organize cybersecurity events. I have organized 2 editions so far, and these events are free of charge. We organize technical workshops, technical presentations and lectures. I also organize hack and beers. These are free talks that are given across Spain in an informal environment, and whereas people network with each other, share experiences and share knowledge and ideas. So then, as I say, I went beyond being an assistant and I decided to contribute value to the community through organization of events so that people like yourselves have the opportunity to go there as attendees or as speakers. And the third area where I contribute value is the following. Training side. I am a freelance trainer. I've also participated as a trainer in the school meetings and training sessions organized by INCIBE. I try to raise awareness and to disseminate this to highest number of people possible. Cybersecurity is a question, is a theme that affects us all. And that's why we all should be aware of cybersecurity and all together should dissemination so that all together we can contribute to a more secure and safer internet. And now the emotional stage. So this is very much present in my life. That would never be lost in me. I get fully involved in everything that I do. This journey that I have traveled helped me develop myself personally, and all the knowledge and expertise that I got from very many of the experts that I met. First of all, I was very thankful to them for that, and I also was humble enough to come close to them and to the world. So sometimes when you go into a field which is fully unknown to you, it's not always easy. So you need to find balance. Across that journey, well, I do enjoy the journey. My purpose is not reaching a destination. I enjoy my ongoing learning, my day-to-day learning, my day-to-day journey. When it comes to emotion, you really need to cope with the good and with the bad. When you go into a completely new sector and you start to carry out activities there, for instance, my YouTube channel, Palabra de Hacker, when you start to disseminate knowledge, which is the main purpose that had made me to open that channel. As I say, when you start to do new things in a sector which is not known to you, things are not always easy. I had to face situations that were not comfortable to me, but I knew I had to cope with them. And as I said, the price I had to pay, a price sometimes to disseminate information about cybersecurity. And if you, in this field or in this stage of learning, I had to face situations not very comfortable. For instance, after no live feed, I got like fake followers aimed at blocking my account. Therefore, I have to cope with all those fake followers that were there trying to block my account. Or for instance, I had to had the live feed to talk about DOS attacks and to explain that they were a way of threatening people. And during that live feed, because the debate was a YouTube debate, a DO2 attack was launched against the server where my web and others were hosted. A DOS attack was launched, and then because it was live going through YouTube, it was not interrupted. These are some of the situations, bad situations that I had to face. So no one has said that this was an easy thing to do, or sometimes you receive negative feedback and criticism. But what actually drives me forward on a day-to-day basis are the very many comments and feedback that I get publicly and in private. And this is what I take, this is me forward. And these testimonials, comments that have been posted publicly, my channel, in which really show that the effort that I'm making is worthwhile. People who are seeing the value that I have in what I'm disseminating and communicating about cybersecurity. These comments, this feedback is what motivates me. That's what gives me the daily fuel that I need to continue contributing this value. And if I manage to do all that and to succeed in that and contribute, surely you can also do that. I'm sure too, because you are here, you have motivation pushing you forward. I'm sure that if I could do it, you will do it as well. Surely you will find your place, you will find what you'd like to do in cybersecurity, no matter your background or where you come from. And this is very, very important because I feel that security is a matter that concerns us all. Cybersecurity should be a multidisciplinary topic. This is not something which is only the responsibility or that affects only technical people. These are the basis, and it's a good starting basis to implement very many projects. And here we have a section which is others. Others including very many other professional experts. So cybersecurity is something that affects the law enforcement agencies, educators, analysts, forensic analysts, public prosecutors, judges, etc., etc. In the workshop delivered by Mano, it was said that all the evidence that it is gathered in IoT devices had to be communicated, had to be reported to judges in a manner that they could understand it. And perhaps the idea is that all these public prosecutors and lawyers and others should kind of be trained or receive enough information so that you understand that language, to understand what happens in the world of cybersecurity.
delincuentes y los malos totalmente, con lo cual todos los
All the professionals are the ones that have to work in the different areas, rowing in the same direction so that this has a good result. We have to do our bit. It's not enough just by having the technical part. We need regulations and lawyers and prosecutors need to know about it, and journalists and lawyers need to know what's all this about, not just when WannaCry happens. We need to know about cybersecurity, and users need to wake up and be familiar with this type of things. Today, I miss a nationwide campaign to launch messages related to cybersecurity. The same when a few years ago, traffic campaigns were launched telling people to fasten their seatbelts. Now, there's still campaigns. If you don't fasten your seatbelt, you can still do it, but you have the information. Today, I think there should be a nationwide campaign that reminds people how important it is to have security measures in place, such as changing password, covering the webcam. The basic part of this is failing. There will always be people that even when they're aware of things, they don't do them. But we need to realize that cybersecurity is cross-cutting. We all have to do our bit. We all need to acquire knowledge in technical security. We may be technical people or not, as it's my case. This is my case, but we all need to have this information. This is part of our daily life. Today, professionals from different areas that have shown an interest on cybersecurity, those professionals from other areas who have an interest, capabilities, and skills in cybersecurity, well, they have something else. A lawyer that knows about these things have a competitive advantage compared to someone who wants to keep on doing the same thing. We need different professionals from different areas that learned about this. Having said that, cybersecurity is not something fashionable. Apparently, it seems that everybody's speaking about cybersecurity now, but it's not fashionable. It has come here to stay. It's always going to be present. And it's obvious, it's evident that we need prepared people with passion, with talent, but they already exist. There are people like this. These professionals exist. And sometimes when people speak about cybersecurity, when they say that it's something fashionable, there are many things which are not real. And young people who feel curious and want to know more about this, they hear things such as we need many more experts, people need to be motivated. Yes, that it's true. Among all the news in the press, these type of headlines which are of concern. But this depends on the newspaper you open every day. Depending on that newspaper, you may have one information or the opposite information, such as we need 1 million professional more, 1.5 million, 2 million, or next year in 2009, the world will require between 5 and 6 million experts. From 1 to 6 million, Well, it depends on the newspaper you open that morning. You have many opportunities. I have every opportunity in the world, but this is for me. If you follow these headlines, well, that would be a mistake. If you follow these headlines, you would think that cybersecurity is something fashionable. Well, it's not. It has come here to stay. When I was studying, they told me that when headlines were very big, it meant it was a catastrophe. When I studied, the newspapers were on paper. When you had the headline or in the middle pages, it was your headline was huge. That meant it was a catastrophe, something huge. And today, the written press and online press, we have big headlines to highlight any type of news, and we need some balance here. And then we find things such as this one. 82% of companies says that they're hacked due to a lack of talent. Well, this was my reaction. Am I saying a bad thing about journalists? But when it comes to cybersecurity, because journalists inform about what people say, and below that you see, before a lack of talent prepared to combat cyber attacks, 9 out of 10 companies think that the machines will be able to carry out their tasks better than human. We've seen the previous headlines, and this is the headlines. 9 out of 10 companies think that machines will do this better than humans. Well, neither of the two things are true. If companies are hacked, it's not due to a lack of talent, it's due to a lack of resources, lack of investments in order to have a professional to be secure. Perhaps companies are not doing their homework. But 82% of the companies are not hacked due to a lack of talent, but a lack of budget. So you have to bear many things in mind. It doesn't matter what number we find in those headlines. This is evidence. Today, technology is growing so fast. It's growing so quickly that there are new jobs and we need to cover new jobs, but it's impossible to estimate the number. It's impossible to know how many people you're going to need, because otherwise right now unemployment in our industry would be 0%, which is not the case. People who are good, who are talented, have a lot of opportunities. And now it's a good time, if you truly love this, if this is what you want to do in life, whether you're boys or a girl, this is a good moment to train in cybersecurity. But the demand of professionals will not exist forever. Right now, the headlines are telling us there's huge demand. Well, with time, it will be more balanced. And at some point, supply and offer will be balanced. So it's a good time to study if you truly love this sector, but not only from a technical point of view. We've said it's cross-cutting. And being well positioned, well, we need to outperform all the people as professionals to be ready to cover these positions. And I hope there are governments and companies willing to cover those positions with talent that already exists, because we've seen that in Spain there is talent. And in order to cover these positions, you need to make a difference. Those of you who are studying, or you're going to access your first job, or perhaps not your first job, but your first job in cybersecurity, today you need to be different from others. You need to make sure that you're the chosen one. What are the basic professional skills that need to be added to the knowledge you already have? Well, we are assuming that your knowledge, whether it's following regulated education programs or you're a self-taught person, regardless of the knowledge you have, you need to differentiate from others in any area by offering some things which are demanded today due to how jobs work. Today, we need to be able to work as a team. In Cybercamp, we've seen that people work as a team. The hackathon, people were participating for a few hours trying to develop things, and they were working as a team. Yesterday, the youngest ones in Cyber Olympics, the finalists that came here, they worked as a team to respond to the challenges that we were presented with. We need to be prepared to work as a team so that we can work with professionals from different areas. We need to be able to understand professionals from other areas. It's not that I'm a technician, so I work with technicians. I'm a journalist, I work with journalists. We need to be able to work with teams from many disciplines. In this way, our results will be better. And for that, the best thing is to have our own initiative. You have to be active, both on your professional life and your personal life. You need to be motivated. You need to be ready to do things. And you need to develop creativity and lateral thinking. Any professional today needs to take a step further, and if there's any challenge, any problem, anything they have to face in their daily life, they need to think what no one has thought of before. Whether you're specialists in cybersecurity, journalists, nurses, or lawyers, these skills should be absorbed. And their communication skills, they're very important. Not just being able to talk. To talk before an audience. This doesn't mean that everyone needs to be brave and be up here and communicate. I hope you will do. But you're going to communicate either orally or in writing with many people. You need to communicate, and you need to know how to write, good spelling, good grammar. That has been lost. That's a step further, but you need to be you need to be able to do this in empathy, the ability to step on the other person's shoes. But I use this in everything I do. These are the basic professional skills which have to be added to different knowledge you have. In the professional area, besides your knowledge, people will also assess the competence you have, but the attitude you have. Those people that will have the first job, the first interview, first jobs in which we send CVs. You have to look for a job. People don't go looking for you. When people face the first job, they come from vocational training, from university, and they have a CV which is similar to their colleagues' CVs. The same knowledge because they follow the same studies. The same. And when you have the same, what makes you different? I know the same things he does. But what makes you different? How can you have something else in your CV? How can you be different? You need to do things. today there are many opportunities to try to do things. And you need to include those things in your CV that shows that you're active, you have initiatives. For example, having a blog where you develop the different things you try, or you come to an event and you comment the lectures, you create content and you publish that content. And that blog will become a reference for people. I will see that besides studying the same thing as your neighbor, you have done something else. It doesn't matter how little these things they are, but it shows initiative. You go to GitHub of similar platforms to share the things you've developed, because recruiters will be able to see what you're doing. It doesn't matter how little they seem, that those things make you different. Take part in hackathons, programming hackathons. You're showing your attitude, you're showing that you're truly interested in this. Or CTFs. If you include this in your LinkedIn profile, in your CV, that's a difference from other people. You need to do things, you cannot stay still. I never stayed still in my personal life. I did things. And I didn't know where I was headed. I still don't know. But I did things. And those things are important. The assistant chair is very comfortable, but you need to take part in events or attend events. There are examples from different communities that show the talent for many young people, and that talent helps them have opportunities to be here and give their talks. And hack and beers, people talk, break the ice, they practice their communication skills, they break the ice, they do things. And then networking, taking advantage of these moments. How many of you, besides attending workshops and conferences, are using networking periods to make contact with people up here or among yourselves? And the others, aren't you taking advantage of networking moments to get to know professionals, not just from up here but around you? Do you know what people around you can provide you? If they're here, they have a common interest. You share an interest with them, talk to them. You need to take advantage of these opportunities to become different from others. And before finishing my talk, I would like to share with you my recipe with the things that, in my opinion, should make you different from other people. I think any person should have this. First of all, professionalism. Whatever you do, you need to be professional. You need to prove that you take things seriously, that in your area of expertise, you're serious, you're professional. I have no experience, it's okay. Being professional is not just having a lot of experience. I may be professional because I'm serious at what I do. I may be professional when I do my school homework and I show abilities. Learning, the ability to learn, that's something you should never lose. You need to learn whatever you can. Learning things that have nothing to do with you. I've been in many talks, many events where people talked about things that sounded like science fiction for me, like this actor I've mentioned in the beginning. They started to talk about reversing and many other things, and I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. Now I'm not that lost, but I'm still lost with many things, but I'm still hungry. I want to learn. Being constant. If you try something, don't throw in the towel 3 days later. Be constant. After a while, you'll see whether this is something you truly like, that motivates you. Be constant in everything you do. Attitude. People don't just value knowledge and competences, but your attitude. How do you face the things you do, both at a personal and professional level. I'm here and I go on. Gratitude. We need to have the word thanks in our life, in our mouths, for everything. I thank everyone for everything. You need to be humble. We don't know everything. We learn so much from so many people, and all the time, every time, you'll find someone to thank. You'll thank someone today, and tomorrow someone will thank you because you would have given them something. Is it that difficult to say thank you? Well, sometimes it's difficult to say good morning or good afternoon when we're out to a place, but thank you? Well, it should be easy to say everyone's helping you, and the next day people may thank you. Analysis skills. You need to analyze what you would like to get, to achieve, personal aspirations, where you are, where you want to go. Don't get lost. Enjoy the way until you get your destination. I'm enjoying this time. I'm enjoying sharing all this with you. And then responsibility. This has to do with professionalism. When you commit yourself to doing something in your life, you need to be responsible because it may have a negative consequence if you fail people. And in this recipe, I always add something else. That's something that I already have. I always have, which is passion. Passion I try to inject in things. If I'm here today, that's because someone motivated to send my proposition for a talk here, he mentioned that word, passion. He said, you do things with passion. That was the key word. And I said, okay, I'll try it. I don't know what can I offer at an event such as Cybercamp. But he mentioned this word, and I thought, the same way many people thank me for the little things I do, perhaps if I came here to show what I've done and what you can do, I could use part of this passion I include in everything I do. And that's why I discovered you don't always fit where you belong to, but once you find your place, you offer value to others. People have told me that I've added a little bit of value, whatever value it is, in this. I've helped people. So imagine what you can do in cybersecurity. If I could, you can. I hope this has helped you. Thank you very much.